Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to this quite unusual stream of mine. I welcome if you're joining my live stream um, for the first time. My name is Samuel Adranyi, and I know it's not common for me to stream via stream. Yeah, this is it's actually my second live stream on StreamYard. Anyways, I know most of you were expecting that today is Sunday and I would come to you with how do you call it? Power power series, which is what I do on Sundays, talking about the Microsoft Power Platform and demoing or inviting people to come have a conversation with me. But since yesterday, I mean, it's something that's been, I won't say, let me put it this way. It's something that I have been thinking about, for a while now. But then yesterday it was elevated or heightened. And it's something I just want us to have a conversation about. So today I am not, I'm not going to do the regular power series where I stream for you to learn something. Today, I just want us to have a conversation, a very candid conversation about life generally. There are things that I feel people are going through and don't necessarily have the right. They don't have the right, I would say, support group to talk about. Um, just a sec. As you know, I it's always a one man stream, so I always like to um um you know uh it's I'm trying to keep it probably 30 to 45 minutes. um you know um, I'm just trying to send out some notification on my WhatsApp, uh you know on my WhatsApp status. Hmm. So I'm streaming live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and then also on YouTube. So if you want to catch up with me, we can pretty much communicate. You can join my conversation on any of these platforms. Let me just check quickly if I'm getting a transmission on all the other places. Yeah. So um, it should be coming now. So like I said, so I want us to just talk about let's talk about life. Okay, today I'm not talking anything tech. We're just talking about life. And I haven't done this on any, on any of my shows, before. I haven't done any. And I want to how do I put this? Where's that lower third? Where's that lower third? I want to I just want us to have a conversation. That's just it. And I am trying to let's see. Oh man, this is hmm, Let me let me go in here and let me just open the comments. So you can actually send me a comment on my social media handles, um, and I would respond to it. So for some time now, during COVID, mostly the latter part of 2021, um, and yeah, latter part of 2021, um, I went through some form of depression. I think it could have been me a bit earlier because it got to a point where I didn't feel like live streaming. I didn't feel like churning content. Not that I couldn't do it. Get this right. It's not that I couldn't do it. I just didn't feel like I just didn't feel like doing it, you know. And I lost interest in a lot of things. And for those who know me, will be like, "What's happening?" Because Sam is not the person, the type who wouldn't wouldn't want to stream, for lack of a better word, okay, so to speak. But then I had just lost interest um entirely, you know. Um, hmm, oh man, interesting. So I had just completely lost the interest in doing that, and those were pretty much early, some of the um early signs or normal signs of depression. Now, depression is real, okay, for a lot of people are going through different things and don't even know that they are they're going through depression, all right, because they probably see it as there's some depression starts with a lot of signs. Some of it, some level of boredom is there, and then it trickles into losing interest in a lot of things. um Even at some point not wanting to do anything, not wanting to step outside, and not wanting, the different levels of of that. And I went through that phase. One of the things that kept me going, was my nuclear family. All right. So, um, my wife, and believe it or not, my little girl. But the other part of things, or the other part of the support system that worked for me was a group of friends that you know um, it was a no judgment zone that allowed me to pour out how I felt, that allowed me to express how I felt with no judgment, and then we talked about it. And thankfully, gradually took me out of that state. Now, I'm thankful that, I had these people to talk to or to share what I was feeling with, because there are a lot of people out there that are going through, similar or going through um, crazy things and don't have anyone, to share this with. That brings me to the reason why even today I wanted to just talk, not do tech. And this is in I won't say in recent times. You today you hear 23 years, 20 years, 25 years dead. You would hear, and I'm talking about specifically the young folks that are committing suicide, right? I mean, I have, I would say a distant family suffered that not too long ago. He was in his 20s, and he took his own life. And it's not something that we like to talk about. But the truth of the matter is that it's real. Okay, let's let's forget about everything. And let's open up and talk about these things. People are going through a lot, especially the young ones. But generally, people are going through a lot. Most of them don't have a support system just because it gets to a point where people feel talking about your lowest point of being depressed is being stigmatized. I think I remember some time back. I also said this once, but going through it, I realized that look, I'll just be kidding myself. There was this. We always say that Africans don't get depressed because your family or your parents will whoop you out of the depression, right? So when even there are certain signs and symptoms that point to the fact that somebody is going through depression, we overlook that and think, oh, he's just seeking attention, or you're not serious, you don't have a life, or and and that is killing a lot of our young people. Yesterday I learned of a young guy who took his own life, and I couldn't imagine what this person was going through. And that is what for the most times and that is what for the most times people forget to understand. For these people, the signs would have been there, but because we are all busy trying to find, trying to make money and all that, we don't notice or take notice of these signs. You have a child, you have a friend, you have a relative who has started, you know pulling and just being on his own, him, or just being him or her, not wanting to socialize, not wanting to get out there. And you don't see that as a reason or a cause to engage that person to say, hey, let's talk about this. You know, sorry guys, I have some things on the 3D print and the laser engraver happening, so forgive me if the sound is a bit murky. But the question is that who do these people talk to? And in asking the question, who do these people talk to, we want to ask ourselves, are we are we ourselves well equipped to understand what it means to be depressed, and therefore to be able to provide a shoulder for someone who is going through depression? A lot of people don't see depression as as a sickness or condition, just like I have severe tummy upset or severe headache and I want to go and see a doctor. Some people don't see depression as that. And that is where the problem starts from. So young people are getting extreme pressures, extreme social pressures. And I'm talking about social media. Today there's TikTok, there's even a new one, Popo, or there is Snapchat, there's Instagram, there's Facebook. Most of it, most of the things we see on social media, majority of them are not true. We have people living fake lives on social media. We have people portraying what they are not on social media, exerting extreme pressure on others. Someone will come on social media, dress, makeup, you know, speak all the English, look prim, just showing you that they are living the life. Meanwhile, as soon as they leave that social media life, they come inboxing friends and people. Charlie, I go figure some 100 CDs, take sort myself out. But you're living a life on social media that portrays that you got it all figured out. And when this happens, that young boy that is struggling to even find his purpose is looking at what you're doing and buying for himself that enormous precious. You have our generation wanting to get rich quickly and therefore doing all sorts of things to make it. And once they do, hey, it's all on social media, flaunting and showing cars, things, the luxuries of life, the next hottest place in town. By all means, enjoy your life. By all means, have fun. These people look at these peers of theirs and have what we call FOMO, fear of missing out. And they start questioning themselves. What am I doing wrong? What is it doing right that I am not? And people start to say, follow person way no road. As my Nigerian brothers and sisters will say. Literally, follow the person who was taking the lead. Sometimes those leads are not what you need. Sometimes those leads are the ones that buy the precious. Sometimes those leads are the ones that take you to your early grave. There are things we need to understand. Not all these fingers are equal. And in recent times, there's a lot of motivational talk about Prince Charles, King Charles now. Took him how many years to become king? No all fingers are the same. There are people, even in school, there were those in the first 10, and there were those in the last 10, and there were those who are always in the middle. We are all not the same. In the same way, in school, when we started out from JHS to secondary school to tertiary, you will know friends and people who were probably in the last 10 when you were in GHS or when you're in junior high. You went to secondary school, and these people are now in the first 10 because times and seasons are changing. We buy for ourselves enormous precious on social media. But going for a social gathering, my mates are coming with different types of cars. I don't have a car, and therefore I need to go and borrow a friend's car. Oh, Kojoka, give me your car. I'm going for some event. Why? Everybody is driving a car. I don't have a car. I must be doing something wrong. A lot of people are holding iPhones, and therefore I have to have an iPhone. There's something I'm probably doing wrong. All my life, I have been an Android person. It was sometime last year I decided to go iPhone, and then I got an iPhone 12 Pro Max. And even that, not too long ago, Apple released 13. and now they released 14. You are not in competition with anybody. You are not in competition with anybody apart from yourself. The only person you should strive to be better than is yourself yesterday. That is what you should strive at being. Forget the fear of missing out. Forget you only live once. If you want to succeed, yes, put in the work. Work hard at it. And someone says hard work doesn't pay. Yes, of course. With what we are seeing, with all the people trying to make it real quick by doing all sorts of vices and all sorts of things, they are getting rich faster. And people who decide not to toe that path are taking a longer time to get rich. And therefore, even if you're preaching, you know, hard work pays, it doesn't seem true. Because the person who's doing the hard work for you to pay, right, is being kicked out or is not being recognized. But the person who is cutting the corners and doing all sorts of vices is getting paid. Let's take our time. Don't buy any social media pressure for yourself. Live within your means. Do what makes you happy. Most of the times, I'm surrounded by all these gadgets and all these things here. Yeah, sometimes my wife always complains. Yeah, it's always your gadget. Even you don't, but I'm trying to work at that. Don't buy any social media pressures. Look, the people smiling on social media, but in the background, when they go behind the scenes, they are crying, they are weeping. People are giving up on life because your lifestyle on social media is making them think they are not worth it. It's making them think they are not working hard enough. It's making them think they are failures. Meanwhile, your life you're living on social media is not true. Do not buy any social media pressures for yourself. Most times, what all these people need is mostly someone to talk to. Because when someone is depressed, when someone is frustrated, when someone is at the verge of giving up, no amount of motivational speaking or motivational words is going to get the person out of that point. They need to know that someone cares for them. They need to know that they can talk to someone who is not going to judge them. They need to know that they can express themselves without being judged. They need to know that you know they can pour out how they feel and not be seen as you're sick or not be seen as you're not serious. That is what I want us to talk about. And like I said, I, I haven't done this on any of my live streams. You know, I want to hear. I mean, if anyone is watching, is listening, all right, and you feel like talking, right? You want to talk to someone, call this number. Call and let's talk live. I haven't done this on my any of my shows before, but I just have a strong, like, since yesterday I've just been having this conviction. edge that people going through a lot who just want to talk. They just want someone to listen to them in the simplest of forms and just tell them everything is going to be okay. If you're that person, if you're that person and you want to talk, call that number. We'll, I'll put you on live and we'll talk. Just listen to what you have. This one is not a prayer line. This one is not, it's just basically let's just talk about how we feel. Most times we're going through a lot of things, we don't talk about it, and therefore people realize too late. Today, I want us to, get the habit of providing the platform or providing the opportunity for people to talk and to express how they feel. If you if you're in a dark place and you just need someone to listen for the next couple of minutes, let's talk. I might not have the solution to your problem, and I'm saying that I have solution to everybody's problem. The key thing, especially for what worked for me, was to have that support system that was not judgmental, that would just listen to me. And that's what I want us to do. If you want to share it, by all means, talk to me. Call, vent, share what's, on your mind, what's heavy on you. And for the past couple of, I think during the like this afternoon, I've been posting some pictures on my WhatsApp status. The people who have been there for me at pivotal moments in my life. Some have affected my life directly, others indirectly. Some don't even don't know they've affected my life. Some show they were true friends when I was my lowest. Hmm. Let's talk. Most times people just need to talk. They just need someone to offload, someone just to listen to, some of the things which is heavy on their hearts. You just need to talk. And I wish I knew this earlier, because a lot of people are going through these things and uh, are saying, I wish I also had someone to talk to. Let's inculcate the habit of talking. Sorry. Don't let pressures of social media force you into doing things that would get you depressed. For all you know, that car you see your friend driving to that party you went to is borrowed. For all you know, that car, right, that he's driving to that party you saw, he's not even finished paying for it. For all you know, all he has in his pocket is one CD, even though he's driving the car to the party. Those are the real moments. There are people out there who are going through a lot and yet are able to smile to you and say, hey, what's up? And even tell you, Charlie, things will be okay. But they themselves are not okay. There are a lot of examples. The late comedian, I think is it Robin Williams? Robin something. Great comedian. Makes people laugh. Took his own life. And he's not the first. There are a lot of people in entertainment who entertain us but have a lot of problems. And by the time you hear they've committed suicide, and we keep asking, who entertains the entertainer? Who was this person talking to? Is it because we perceive or we think, oh, he's a celebrity, he's an entertainer, oh, he's a big boy, and therefore he doesn't have, or he or she doesn't have problems? Today, there are a lot of celebrities out there that have serious problems, but can't share because anybody they talk to will not believe that this celebrity is going through this. Oh my God, I can't believe it. You're on TV all the time, all the money you're making. Trust me. Sometimes I tell you that sometimes you are even richer than some of your top celebrities. No pun intended. But that's the truth. Sometimes you even have 20 cities in your pocket. Sometimes your so called celebrities don't even have one city. Yeah, they're TV stars. But one thing we keep forgetting is that they are human. They also go through emotions, they also go through everything you go through. But it is the problem or the issue of who do they talk to? Who listens to them? That is why we are here. Today, I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do tech because I felt it was something we just needed to talk about. It's one of the it's one of the very sad things to know that a best friend, someone you knew, someone you loved, was gone tomorrow. And further investigation showed that he was depressed or he just needed someone to talk to or he was just fed up with life because nothing seemed to be working. And this is where we need our leaders, irrespective of what religion, irrespective of what you believe in. This is where we need them. Depression is real. And we're losing a lot of people, especially young people, to depression. It just gets to the point where they can't handle it any longer and they resort to taking their own lives because there's no one to listen to them. There's no one to encourage them. There's no one to let them know that what you're going through, I see you, I hear you, I got you. Let's provide the opportunities and the platform for people to share how they feel in a non judgmental way. Express how you feel. Sometimes all they want is just to, hey, I'm not feeling, I'm not feeling like myself. I'm losing touch with something. I don't feel like doing anything. I feel like I'm behind in life. I feel like there's nothing I can do. That's just because you're depressed. And to make matters worse, the people on social media portraying lives which are not true, buying all these pressures for us. Don't buy social media pressures. Live the life according to your means, right? If at any point you feel, look, I need to talk to someone, find a support group, find a non judgmental group or friend or people who you can trust to know that, look, these people will not sell me out, or these people will just have the ear to listen to me. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Today we are not talking technology. Today I decided to just have a conversation about life, specifically depression, fear of missing out, and all the social pressures that young people are going through that lead to suicide and stuff like that. And I'm saying for the first time on any of my shows, if you're that person, you feel you're in a dark place and you just want to, let it off your chest, you can call this number. Join the live, just share it. We're just listening to you. It's not a religious. I'm not here to say I'll pray for, no. It's just sometimes all people need is just a listening ear. And that's what I want to use today for. If you want to share, please do share. You can send a message in your chat, whether you're watching me from Facebook, you're watching me from YouTube, you're watching me from LinkedIn. You can just drop the message, and then I would definitely answer. It's it's real. It is real. if you have a if you have a question, especially, some things are not really being clear to you, you're trying to understand certain things and that's weighing on you, look, just drop a question. We'll try to answer that. Kujo, Robert, thank you for joining. Noah, thank you for liking. um yeah, Godwin, thank you. It's not, you know let me use myself as an example. So most times I come and create content, tech content for you. People like it. Some, don't even show, they watch, they don't appreciate, they do all that. Some of these things also contribute to people getting depressed because they feel that they're giving their best and doing everything they have to do, but no one is appreciating them. No one is commending them. No one is giving them that tap on the shoulder to say, hey, look, you're doing a good job. Yes, sometimes, like I said, you don't necessarily need external validations, but we're human. We're driven by emotions. It's good not to set like expectations high, but believe you me, for someone who has got to that section or that side of his life or her life, they just need a listening ear. And that is what I want us to start inculcating the habit of providing for our friends. Be that listening ear for that person. That person who is trying so hard and still feels like they are lost. They can't move a step forward. It looks like anytime they take one step forward, they're taking like 3 or 5 steps backwards. Be that listening ear for that person. Like I said, sometimes all the person wants is even just to know that someone is thinking about them. Some of you have friends you've not heard from in ages, not even a hello. And the sad part of this is There are people who are fortunate to have good people in their life who make it a point to check on them, as often and as regular as they can. But they don't appreciate these people. And there are people who need such people to just checking on them, at least even once a week. I mean, just say, hey, what's up? Just a text message. Hey, what's up? You are, you came in mind. Everything okay, everything solid, everything crisp. They don't get it. And some people have it and don't appreciate it. Depression is real. And in this world where everybody is hustling and bustling, everybody's trying to, hustle to make ends meet so that their families can live a comfortable life. We go through a lot of challenges, and sometimes we're doing so much that we forget to pause and say, hey, I also need to take some time off. I am I am a huge culprit. So thank you for joining, Alfred. Yeah, it's true. There was no balance. Yeah, there was no balance. That's true. But you see, in as much as it's not balanced, that is why some of us, or we all, as humanity, in most cases, need to put aside our religious differences and sometimes our cultural differences and be each other's keeper. The very little things that, like I said, I'm guilty of a lot of these things. But it's just, this couple of days, I'm just replaying a lot of things back. Like yesterday, a part of me was taking back memory lane to like almost 10 years now since I lost my elder sister. And portions of that morning from when we left the house till we got to the hospital where she was pronounced dead, and turning to my mother to see her wailing, screaming because she had just lost a daughter. And I could remember her words like it was yesterday. Having hope and faith that she was just asleep and would wake up. Mid morning, when she was taken to the mortuary, and for the first time, I came, I had this encounter in the mortuary to see her lifeless body laying there and to see all the other lifeless bodies. And the question that, at that moment, I don't think I couldn't feel the pain of losing my sister. But at that moment, all I just kept asking myself was, to what end are we in the right? Like, so everything we are rushing, everything we're in the haste to acquire, everything, this is the end. And this played back. So yesterday it played back. It played back for my sisters, and then it played back to that Saturday evening when I was called that my mom had passed. And all these things kept and in my mind, and I had a very important thing I had wanted to share with my mom the next morning. Because that was when I was going to tell my mother that finally you're a grandmother. And she died on a Saturday. I didn't get opportunity to tell her. Because in most times as well, we want to do things in our own time. So even if we're going through all the pain and going through all the hustle, instead of, hey, telling someone, or instead of us providing the platform for people to express how they feel, relegate it and say, you know what, I'll deal with this tomorrow. I'm guilty of it. Boaz, thank you so much. And you are right. We're rushing for everything, but in the end, we leave everything behind. The days I go to my family house and I go into my parents' bedroom and I see my mom's wardrobe and all the clothes and all the things she hustled, all the things she would wake up at, sometimes 3 a.m., 4 a.m., trek to the marketplace and acquire. How many did she go with? Sometimes I look around myself and I'm like, God, I have all these things around me. Tomorrow, if I pass, that's it. And therefore, most times I make a very conscious effort to say that, you know what? We need to impart the next generation with all these things. So, for those that have encountered me, I keep telling you, I give you the opportunity to learn a lot of things. Because if we want to be remembered for something, it's the legacy we leave behind. But unfortunately, some of the lives ourselves and the people are living on social media are making a lot of these young people feel they are not amounting to anything and therefore don't even have the opportunity to leave legacies. Yeah, you're right, Susu. If we have to make the world a better place, it starts from us. Yesterday, I was talking to someone, and the person told me that until my support came, they had given up. And that did a lot. And like I said, I'm in no means attacking. I, I've not even said anything. This is not religious. This is not faith based. This is all we all rally around. Most of us, our intuition tell us this person seems to be going through a lot of challenges. This person seems to be going through a lot of things. But most of us brush it off. Like, only to hear a couple of months, a couple of weeks down that the person is no more. You're like, what happened to the person? He or she was depressed. Let me tell you a story about a delivery guy I encountered, I think 2 months ago. So I had purchased something and the guy was to deliver it. And he brought it. I told him, oh, I wasn't in the house, or in my house and my office is just across the street. So I told him he would just give me a couple of minutes, I'll come down or take it to the office. So he waited for me, but he had seen the office and was reading everything there. And this was he was a dispatch rider. Now I'm in by no means saying all dispatch riders, are this way, but um from the way he spoke to me, he was interested in learning how to code. And that he didn't even, I think he dropped out from secondary school, but he had heard a lot about coding and was interested in coding. So I gave him a number and said, you know what, I'll send you some resources. Just use them. And if you have any problems, just send me a WhatsApp. Sometimes, sometimes all people need is to know that somebody is thinking about them. And for those of us, or for those of you that have people that regularly checking with you, don't think that the people who are smiling and coming your way all the time don't have problems. Don't assume your entertainers don't have problems. Don't assume your content creators don't have problems. Don't assume your celebrities don't have problems. They probably may have bigger problems than you do. They make up, face the camera, deliver the content, they go back to their houses in their private rooms and they cry. People ask me, how do you do it? You live stream 3 times a week. You have a podcast. Yes, I know I've not released. I have a lot of people's podcasts that I have to release. And you do all these things. How do you do it? Most times, my wife tells me, are you not streaming today? There is a support. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Godwin. Yes, in our part of the world, we keep on, and that is what I want us to move away from. It's high time we incorporate that habit of talking. Most times, and that see that's the crazy part of what happens, with life. People are going through problems, and sometimes we made ourselves rigid that they can't approach us to talk to us, and then they pass on, and we come to hear what's happening, and the first question is, why didn't he talk to me about it? Have we made ourselves available to be heard? Or have we made ourselves available to listen to the problems or the challenges people are facing? Sometimes I am quick to judge. It's not intentional, but I it's sometimes you hear the very first two, three statements of something and you're jumping into conclusion. It's something I'm trying to stop. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not saying it's good. I'm human. And that is what I want us to talk about. It is not easy. It is not easy. People are going through all sorts of problems. Look, there are times, okay, I've I've been through situations where how do you call it? I've been through situations where at that moment, okay, or that period, I probably only had maybe 100 or 200 CDs in my wallet, right? And someone calls and says, Charlie, Sam, I beg, I need this money to do this. I give them the money. Some people don't realize that sometimes the help that a friend or whoever is giving you is actually putting that person in discomfort. But for that thing, they sacrifice for you. And yet, these same people do not realize or appreciate the fact that anything or something is being done for them. For everyone who has lost friends, family, loved ones, mostly they say that if it hits home, then you understand the pain. Until it hits home, you will never understand the pain of that person crying when they lose a loved one. We should try to curb this. We should try to engage more. We should try to communicate more. We should try to provide forums. We should try to provide environment, non-judgmental environment for people to express themselves, for people to share what's happening with them. And we should pick up the habit. of not stigmatizing people, especially people that are going through depression or feeling, you know, down, not worthy of a lot of things. Let's be each other's keeper. Instead of spending that time on TikTok, twerking and doing all that, let's spend it to create an environment where people can share how they feel, where people can motivate, can encourage each other to say that we got each other. We will come out of this. That is what we should be doing. That is what we want to provide. Today, like I said, I I was just, yesterday it was just, it was just one of those moments where I took a trip down memory lane after hearing a young guy had just committed suicide. And I just took a trip down memory lane, recollecting that morning my sister passed, that evening I got the call that my mom passed, and it just kept playing. It just kept playing. It just kept playing. And I put myself in a situation where I remember latter part of last year during the COVID season where I was going through that depression state where I didn't feel like doing anything. Like nothing was of interest to me again. Like I didn't feel like coding, I didn't feel like learning, I didn't feel like working, I didn't feel like streaming, nothing. I just wake up and I'll lay in bed. I'll just lay in the sofa. And my wife will come and say, "Is everything okay?" And I'll be like, "Yeah." And sometimes she'll be like, "We'll be fine." Everybody needs a support system. Everybody needs a support system. Hmm. Well, folks, it's it's 2 minutes to exactly 1 hour since I started the stream. Like I said, this is not one of the things I do. Um, Today was supposed to having power series, and for us to talk about, I would have talked about technology and all that, and you know, I just felt like I needed us to talk about life. Sometimes it's just good to take a break away from everything you're doing and just appreciate life for what it is. Most times we are so engulfed in our daily lives trying to make ends meet, trying to make money to make sure the family and our nuclear and external families are well taken care of. And we totally forget that we also need to take time to pause to celebrate our small wins. You know, we have come far. If you look at your life, if you look at where you were, some years ago, and you look at where you are now, you realize that you have come far. And sometimes just that period is worth celebrating. Let's be each other's keeper. Yeah, I'm not saying put yourself in a toxic environment where people are always spewing negativity. No, let's create the platforms. If you have a platform and you have the voice and you have the people, use that platform to spread positivity. Use that platform to get people to open up. Use that platform to get people to share how they are feeling. Sometimes all they need is to get it off their chest and know that somebody heard them. and that person would have forgotten about that suicidal thought for the next year or two. You would have given the person a year or 2 years of hope. That's what I'm here to share today. I hope this meant something to someone. I hope it 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 allowed us to hit pause. I hope it allowed us to pause and reflect. I'll try to do this as often as I feel. But until then, let's be very hopeful. Let's be positive. And if you're going through anything, reach out. Reach out. It might not be fine. I mean, it might not be, it's not about money. Please. I don't have money to give. That's just on the lighter side. But speak to someone. Someone out there also willing to listen to you. Let's curb the rate of depression. Let's curb the rate of young people committing suicide. Let's be that listening ear. I don't know if there are places where people can just call in and rant. I know there was something like that in the US. I'll be interested to, you know, do that with people that want to do it. Support groups, people can call in and vent and talk about whatever they are feeling. At least we can save more lives. Thank you for listening to me rant for 1 hour. I will try to do this as often as I can. Liz, thank you for watching. Let's let's be each other's keeper, and let's make the world a better place. Enjoy the rest of your day, your afternoon, your evening, and let's keep spreading positivity. I'm out.